The story of Mary
The story of Draupadi.
is a story about two women.
Is it just a story though?
Well, taxonomically, one is an epic and the other a religious text.
The Mahabharata is a holy text as well.
Well, we don't call them stories.
Yes, stories imply that they're not real.
Are you saying that the events in the Mahabharata didn't happen?
Well, I know you can't say that the events in the Bible didn't happen either.
Well, but the Mahabharata...
It is full of metaphors and symbols that constantly morph during retellings.
And the Bible remains largely unchanged. We have the Old Testament books of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and in the New Testament, we have the words of Matthew, Mark, Luke.
Yes, but they're still full of symbolism, so to call them mere stories would
Seem reductive, yes. So, the retellings of Mary
and the retellings of Draupadi.
are of two women who...
That sounds so much better.
Oh, maybe closer.
Well, human beings are not meant to be political.
God forbid we project meaning into these stories.
Well, they can't exactly speak for the dead.
Oh, maybe we could conduct a seance?
Do you think they would speak?
What would they say?
I don't know.
I don't either. So, the retellings of Mary Magdalene
And the retellings of Draupadi
are rife with misunderstandings.
and rich in meanings that we place upon them.
Contemporary eyes,
Modern minds,
clumsy hands.
confused mouths.
I hate Gregory the Great.
I hate the attrition of retellings.
Why do people in power get to paint them the way they do?
Well, we did all the groundwork to prove that they are not right.
So better we tell them then.
Better us than them at least.
But what do you want to say with them?
I don't know the answer to that either.
That's a good place to start.
Not knowing.
Open to interpretation.
I like the sound of that.
Me too.
I don't know how to love you, what to do, how to move. Yes, we need change. In these past few days, when I've seen myself, I seem like someone else. I don't know how to take this. I don't see why he moves me. He's a man.
Now, Mary stood outside the tomb, crying. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" He called my name. Who ordered me stripped of my sari. He called my name, and I knew it was my Lord, that he had returned, and I was in his favor. They called me the Apostle of the Apostles, Apostolorum Apostola. Did you not bathe in the blood of these very same men whom you have cursed for 14 years before they met their untimely end? We remember our deeds, even if the world does not. Don't remind me. It was so dark.
We couldn't even see our hands.
Just those lights across the river from the, what do you call them?
The Deepa in the Aarti.
Right, from the puja.
The camera doesn't capture it at all. How beautiful it each looks. Individually, that is.
You could see them all, couldn't you? The hundreds of pinpricks of flames. I'm finally realizing how crappy my camera really was.
Yes. I remember the priests didn't stop, even as the rain came coming down, the banks flooding.
Someone was crying, "Mera bacha! Mera bacha!"
They call the Ganges mother, you know that? The locals, that is.
Mother Ganges is one greedy bugger.
She drinks and she drinks and she drinks.
Because Haridwar, where we were, do you remember, is the thinnest part of her.
She drank till she could hold no more, and still drank some more.
Till the island where we were, where the river splits into two, just like this.
I could feel the water fill my shoes, the rain against my face.
You laughed. I remember you laughed.
What to do? Just laugh lah.
Lucky thing got our tour guide.
He grabbed our hands.
Told us to run.
Mera bacha! Mera bacha!
Mud was everywhere and lightning had caused a blackout.
We were stumbling in the dark.
And through it all, the priest did not stop.
Even if we had fallen into the river, I don't think anyone would have stopped.
You know, most sane people would have called it quits after that incident.
What do you mean?
We nearly drowned. We could have drowned. Or been trampled, or gotten seriously injured.
It wasn't that bad.
Looking back, I wonder why we didn't give up.
Maybe because we survived. Because it didn't end up worse like we were expecting it to.
Oh, like some kind of adrenaline rush that kept us going. That kept us exploring.
Maybe we're all greedy in our own ways. Just like the river.
They call me Mary, the repentant prostitute. As they call her, Mary, sister of Martha and Lazarus. And her, Mary, the mother of Jesus. But I am Mary of Magdala, the place I was born and raised. Mary, the woman of means, the apostle of the apostles, of which there were 12, but I was above them all. For I was Jesus' hand and reach. My words carried his return on the wind, and I spoke them fervently with a loyalty that never wavered. I am Mary, not his first, but his best. And to be forgotten, to be denied my name and my deeds rankles. The tomb is dark, as I would imagine all tombs to be. But his is particularly, though it may be that it was me who made it so. Burdened by loss and grief, a loss of purpose, for he was more than a leader to me, to us. He was the truth and the light. He was the shepherd and the savior. He called me Mary, and in that name, I find myself anew each time. A reflection of faith, of seeking and finding and having been found, and not forgetting what it felt to be called Mary and to be known as more than a name.
And then just beyond that, around that area, were all the fish shops. But they salted the fish and they even exported them. Yeah,
No, you run back to Dad and he says, tell your mother. It's a fish shop.
They find it by accident.
Not the ancient city and relics part, just the we weren't actually looking for it part.
There have been estimates of it being in the area. Of course, Christian scholars are nothing if not tenacious.
But, was anyone actually thinking that they would find the lost city of Magdala?
No lah. They were going to build a guest house on that land, for crying out loud.
Do you think the first person who understood, right, and realized that this piece that they found, they realized that this was Magdala?
I would have been awed, awestruck.
Awesome.
I wonder if the first person to put the pieces together had been awed, struck by the disbelief that this existed before the collective memory, that it had disappeared before we knew whether we wanted to keep it, if they'd seen it and had any idea the importance of this site, what it meant to find the place where the apostle of the apostles had lived. It is still an active archaeological site.
And we went to visit it.
Of course we had to visit it. You could see parts of the area cordoned off and teeming with the kinds of people who do the dirty work of peeling back layers of time and revealing.
But there is enough there to blow your mind if you layer meaning over its bones.
Here, a stone wall that could have been a home.
Here, the industrial center.
There, parts of the market.
And there, the first synagogue where Jesus carried out his teachings.
They found coins here with Caesar's face and exploits. Do you think anyone has tried to steal one for themselves?
Confirm got one.
Ah. There are stories embedded in this earth. the weight of history, heavy, but palpable as silk on skin, and just as easy to let slip through our fingers.
Stories that invite ghosts to wander through the ruins. Like the after images at the back of my eyelids after staring at the sun for too long. Faint smudges, nothing tangible, but yet.
I touch my hand to the Magdala stone and close my eyes. Ugh.
But you know, like Hinduism is always about whether you reach moksha, right?
Yes.
And the only fellow who will reach moksha from the Pandava side is only Yudhishthira, because he will walk all the way up to the Himalayas, and then he will knock on the gate of heaven, and then they will open the door and say, okay, welcome. But when he goes there, Karna is already there, Duryodhana is already there, Saguni, who would kind of instigate a lot of stuff, is
Hey,
also
you mean
there.
Duryodhana goes to moksha?
Yes, because he did his dharma as a king.
King,
properly.
yeah. Correct.
So it's all you are weighed according to your dharma.
Yeah.
If this is your line, but that is also what people use to reinforce the caste system. That if this is your role,
Yeah.
then you should fulfill it properly. So your
Yeah.
duty as a son, take. Duty as a king, take. Therefore, he's like, okay lah, automatic lah, go up.
I would love that, yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, he's the only one that made it. The other four how?
They will die along the way. I think the first to die is Draupadi, because she doesn't love husbands equally. She would love Arjuna,
Arjuna more.
more.
Because Arjuna is the one who won her to begin with.
Yeah.
No, but he's the one who actually
No,
won
I get
her.
that, yeah. Like, but to punish her for that, like, how dare?
Yeah,
After
Right.
the bullshit she went through,
exactly.
really not fair.
Then everyone else had, like, they will say that he's got some flaws. Like Bhima is because he loves Draupadi too much. That so therefore he became too violent or something. But it was about the love with Draupadi lah.
Shut up.
Then the twin brothers that nobody remembers, I don't know how they died.
So it's the guy who gambled away Draupadi's
Who
sort
gets
of
the
modesty.
moksha?
Yes, who gets moksha? Because as a king, he did his job.
Hate that.
Yeah, so the whole thing is just like cannot.
Something is very wrong.
It is very wrong.
It's-
But what is being perpetuated is even wronger.
yeah.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever we talk about like anything Mahabharata related, the five brothers were there. Yes, they were here, they were there. This is the palace, blah 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 blah. But no one remembers, or they don't
Really care.
really care. It doesn't figure into their vernacular.
Yeah. If Draupadi was there.
discussions that Draupadi was there.
bodies lie, beaten and broken. She falls down from the mountains, scrabbling for footing amongst the loose rock and silt. To get to them, to get to him.
His blood is sticky and cloying. A smell of ash and death. A lack of life that leaves me feeling.
What did he look like in the end? She had spent time memorizing his features. The man who ordered her stripped of her clothing. Knew it enough that he appeared in her dreams like a lingering, rotten, bad smell, like decay and death.
30
Slow
years.
rotting.
For 30 years.
Her hair is a mess, wild and unapologetic, knotted and bushy and bigger than her head, her shoulders, her waist. The ends drag along the ground, and ash and dirt growing messier, becoming more bedraggled, like the weight of the present, the past, and all her hopes for the future had finally collided.
What did my husband look like? Any of them? Did they look like this shell of a man, defeated by hands stronger than his, minds cleverer than his, bodies more determined than him? What did they look like now?
Is it important to remember? Now that your prize is close enough to touch?
I am free now.
You cannot haunt me now. In this moment, as Draupadi rests a hand on her sari, she learns for the first time what it is to stand alone with no one to protect her. And with all the good she has done in this life and in the last, she proves that she does not need it. Draupadi can stand alone, even if the world wishes she would fall.
The mudras used to tell the story of Draupadi's disrobing is of two palms outstretched, pointing towards the sky. Arms open, as if seeking divine intervention. If a picture could paint 1,000 words, what does this picture tell us? That there is strength in submission? I think not. Surely, there are other ways to tell this story. Conservative practitioners of Bharatanatyam would call any deviation to the form sacrilegious. They are quick to discount that this story could be told, could be performed, in any other way. is not Bharatanatyam, they will say. That is not how our ancestors have performed this art for centuries upon centuries. Kita taka tari kita taka tari kita taka tari kita. How can this not be? Is what I ask in return. How can the ways in which I tell the story of the Mahabharata not be what Bharatanatyam is in its very essence? Tarikitato. If the ghosts live a second life through the tips of my toes and fingers, if they live through my mudras and movements, and if they dislike the truth, but if they insist on performing Draupadi as a woman who is meek, submissive, and powerless, then I say to them that this is not the story that they should be saying. For Draupadi was none of those things.
Your stories are so bold, so vivid. You have so many of them.
Your story existed too, even if no one remembers.
No one wanted to remember me. I was forgotten on purpose.
That is a shame.
Prior to the crucifixion, I'm only mentioned once in the Gospel of Luke. Did you know that?
I will speak your name.
Pope Gregory mentions my name as part of a trio of Marys.
Mary.
Mary of Magdala,
Mary.
Mary of Bethany,
Mary.
the repentant prostitute.
I say your name, Mary.
But who is Mary? She who had 7 demons cast out of her? She who was a woman of means? They say all these things belong to the same woman. But that tells me nothing of who I'm meant to be. Did I love?
You loved your Rabboni.
Then, did I smile often? Did I laugh? Did I pluck desert blooms to put in my pockets? Or did I stay up late to trace stories in the arrangement of stars instead?
Mary.
Do not call me by that name, because that woman does not exist, as no one remembers me, not in the ways that matter.
It is a terrible thing to be born a woman in history. No one asked me if I wanted to marry 4 more times. Just that I should. I loved Arjuna the most out of my 5 husbands. In the end, cost me my moksha.
But you had choices. You had agency. You bathed in the blood of your enemies.
Because I was mad with grief. I stood alone when no one stood for me. Depend on the goodwill of gods, which is never a certainty. It was luck that I survived with my dignity intact. Luck and nothing more. None of my husbands, not even Bhima, who once angered Lord Kubera just to bring back a flower for me from the sacred lake because he loved me so much, not even Bhima stood up to stop it from happening. Tell me, would you not grieve for a dream of a loss of safety?
We are never safe. It is an illusion. Just look at what it did to my Lord. A life without danger, without sin, is not a life at all. Without sacrifice.
I would have sacrificed many things on hindsight, like my love for Arjuna, for example, if it meant that I would not need to walk that path that led me to exile, to the war. It is a selfish thing to regret.
What use is it to regret when life has ended? It does not serve us one whit.
And yet, you let it fester into hurt. Tell me, Mary of Magdala, do you regret loving your Lord, your Savior, your Rabboni?
No. But it doesn't mean that I don't wish things were different. That we live in a world where I don't wish things were different.
I cannot help you with the last, but I can try to help you with the first.
What do you mean?
Lie down, Mary of Magdala. Now, close your eyes and think only of your life, of your stories.
I do not have any.
Then make something up, since no one cares anyway. We believe that bathing in Mother Ganges will purify us of our sins. You Christians have something somewhat similar, do you not?
We are baptized when we become Christians, yes, and are then welcomed into the kingdom of heaven.
Then that too is the same, or similar enough. Tell me your name.
I am Mary,
Tell me who you are.
a ghost.
That is not who you are.
I am the forgotten, the erased.
That is still not who you are. That is what they have made of you. Try again.
I am
You can be whoever you want to be.
I am Mary of Magdala. I am a woman with means, with money, and with power. One of those who used what I had to allow my Lord and his disciples to spread their message of salvation across Jerusalem.
And who did your Lord appear to first, before any others?
To me. He chose me to be the apostle of the apostles.
And you are important, not just because of it, but in spite of it.
I am important because and in spite of it.
Louder.
I am important. I deserve to be remembered.
One more time.
I am Mary of Magdala. I deserve better than to be erased simply for the crime of being born a woman.
Rise, Mary of Magdala, and let no one doubt your importance and presence any longer.
We will not forget, even if the world has.
Isn't it funny
Isn't what funny?
that it all comes back to oral history in the end? The kind of stories that we tell each other.
Well, the invention of language symbolizes the beginnings of civilization with a common vernacular.
I don't think I mean in the sociological sense. I mean, what does it mean that we still go back to stories to teach us what's important, to teach us morals, to like stories are more than just a historical record of things that have happened.
It means you probably think a lot.
We are scholars, it's what we do.
Maybe then what it is remembering who is telling these stories and what they choose to keep and what to throw away, to emphasize and to immortalize.
So, Mary got an ending in ours. Some sort of a closure.
A reclamation is its own catharsis, I suppose.
And how about Draupadi?
She has her own what? Even if it isn't good or fair.
Yeah, but is that enough?
Maybe not. But that's not the point of this whole experiment.
Yes.
Anyway.
We said we will tell their stories.
And we did. And maybe that's the importance of this whole thing. It's that we, contemporary women, are the ones telling the stories.
That we remember them.
We remembered, thought of, resonated with, all those things and more.
But I still feel there's something more that we could do. So, is this the end then?
Maybe for now, because there will always be more stories to tell, so long as we have the will and the imagination.
And so we will.
Yeah.
And we have shared their stories with you, and so now you know them too.
So, thank you for listening.
And remember,
There is no greater violence than that of indifference.
and that we should always think about how we tell the stories, especially to those who come after us.